Niners fans, it's about that time, 8:30 on a Wednesday night. Faithful Niner Empire. What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay. Once again, it's always an honor and a privilege to be on with the best fans in the NFL, the faithful the Niner Empire. How's everyone doing out there tonight on a Sunday, or excuse me, I was about to say on a Sunday night, on a Wednesday night? How's everyone doing out there? I hope all is well. I had to come on tonight to talk about the faithful, the Niner Empire. John Lynch had a press conference today. He was at the NFL scouting combine and he had a about a 20-minute news conference, and he was talking about various things. He touched on Javon Kinlaw, he touched on Jason Verrett, he touched on Debo, Nick Bosa. He talked about Trey Lance a little bit. He talked about a variety of players and things that's going on with the team right now. And I thought it would be fitting to have a live stream and inform the best fans in the NFL what's going on with the team if they haven't already heard. I would love if people would contribute to the stream tonight in the chat. Of course, I'll be reading all chat messages, of course. And appreciate it if you hit that thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Huge shout out to everyone watching Jay and the Bay Facebook, Jay and the Bay YouTube, and Jay and the Bay Twitter. Appreciate everyone tuning into the stream tonight. Let's see, we got NYCE in the building. What's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream, NYCE. Same to you, brother. Hope all is well on a Wednesday, man. And we got to get into uh, some things that stood out to me as far as John Lynch's press conference. And the number one thing that stood out to me, I don't know if you guys heard, but Jimmy G's throwing shoulder, his right throwing shoulder, will require surgery. And this is something of a surprise. I don't know if it's a surprise to the faithful, but it's definitely a surprise to me. Obviously, we know Jimmy G suffered that throwing shoulder injury in the Dallas wild card playoff game, and we just assumed, oh, he's just going to rehab. Uh, he's not going to have to get surgery on that shoulder, and he should just be able to rehab in the offseason. He'll be good to go. Well, that was the plan for Jimmy G. After the season was over, he was still rehabbing his right throwing shoulder, his throwing arm shoulder, and unfortunately, he got it checked out, maybe about a week or so ago by a doctor, and I guess he didn't make enough progress as far as the rehab. So Jimmy G and his representation and the doctor agreed that surgery is what's best for Jimmy right now. So that way he can come back and contribute to a team as soon as possible. So what that means is Jimmy G will be out until about late June, early July. That's when he should be able to resume throwing on that shoulder. So I have to ask the faithful, now that this news, you guys heard about this news with Jimmy G, will this affect Jimmy G's trade value? I don't see how I don't see how his trade value can't be affected by this bit of news, because we know Jimmy's history. He's definitely had issues staying on the field. He's definitely had issues staying healthy for the 49ers during his tenure with the team. And if a team is trading for him, they know the positives about Jimmy. He's a good leader. He can play above average football at times at the quarterback position, but now they have to worry about Jimmy's shoulder. And there were comparisons. I was listening to a radio station earlier today. There were comparisons with Jimmy G's shoulder injury and the surgery that he's going to have to require. Drew Brees, the quarterback with the New Orleans Saints, he had a similar injury to his shoulder, and Drew Brees came out fine. Obviously, I'm not comparing Jimmy G's ability to Drew Brees. We know, that there's light years. There's there's levels to this. But hey, Drew Brees had a similar injury. Hopefully Jimmy G can recover in a similar fashion that Drew Brees did. But Faithful, do you think Jimmy G's trade value has been affected? I mean, I know I was on the more optimistic side of, hey, we can get a first round pick for Jimmy. There's a plethora of teams who need to upgrade at the quarterback position, and there's not a lot of quarterbacks out there on the open market who are better than Jimmy G. But I would be lying if I said, oh, no, we still should be able to get a first round pick for Jimmy. I don't know if that's the case anymore. Some would say that's never been the case. But man, this is a crushing blow to the 49ers because we were just, I guess, hoping that Jimmy G would be healthy and that Jimmy G would be able to, hey, he gets traded to a team this offseason and there were no setbacks, but now this is a major setback. I know John Lynch has said that, well, this is no big deal. I know the surgery is going to happen, but Jimmy G should be able to recover just fine. But we don't know. We really won't know. So I would love to hear you guys' thoughts. Do you think Jimmy G's trade value has been affected? I'm going to read your comments in just a second, but I think his trade value has been affected. I think a team will still trade for him, but I don't know if we'll be able to get, I don't know, a round 1, 2, or 3 draft pick. I guess we'll see, though, because I still think there are teams that will want to upgrade that quarterback position. But now that Jimmy G's hurt, he's going to have to require surgery. He won't be able to throw until late June, early July. I don't know. He would be throwing just in time for mini camp, I guess you'd say, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But this definitely was a crushing blow, at least I feel. Let's see what the people in them comments feel. Let's see what we got. Let's see. We got Nicho TV in the building. What's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream, Nicho. Hopefully your Wednesday night is going well. Thanks for tuning in. David McNew, what's good? David says I'd still trade Jimmy G for an 8th rounder and a warm beer. And that's been David's motto pretty much since the season has ended. Hey, just get rid of Jimmy, whatever you can get. Trade Jimmy. I've been more optimistic. I've been more, we could definitely get, a first round, maybe a second round pick for Jimmy. I don't know if that's the case now because he's hurt. Like literally, he wouldn't be able to pass a physical right now. So, and that's another question. Can we trade a player that's hurt because technically he wouldn't pass a physical? So I don't know. We'll see what happens. NYCE says that's a good timeline. I don't think it would affect his value. If you think about it, after a major surgery, Jimmy always comes back and has a good season. Now, that's a great point that he's coming back from a off-season surgery, but this is his throwing shoulder. Like this isn't a knee, this isn't an ankle, this isn't an ACL. I mean, this is Jimmy's throwing shoulder. It would even be much different if it was his non-throwing shoulder. I don't think if it was his non-throwing shoulder that needed surgery, I don't think it would be that big of a deal either. But since it's his throwing shoulder, I mean that's a huge deal. And I know other quarterbacks have come back from that surgery and they've been just fine or maybe even better. But this is just another one of Jimmy's cons that will have to be discussed during the trade. We know that Jimmy, what are Jimmy's pros, right? He's a good leader. He's got a winning record. He's got a quick release, and he's a veteran guy. Those are some of Jimmy's pros. But if you look at Jimmy's cons, he is a turnover machine at times. He's had trouble staying healthy. We've seen that. So I think this is something that a team that's interested in Jimmy will bring up, and that will bring down Jimmy's value, I think, just a little bit. But hey, we shall see. But I appreciate your feedback, NYCE. We got JR Meadows in the house. What's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream, JR. How was your Wednesday night going, man? I hope all is well. David says, I think it will affect his trade value. We should take the first 4th rounder offered and get him off the books. And that's another thing. Jimmy is technically hurt. He is going to undergo a surgery. Can we still trade? Can we trade an injured player? I mean, the injured player won't be able to pass a physical. I mean, well, maybe he will because he has the surgery, I would assume, as soon as possible. And then if a trade materializes, that would come in the next week or two, hopefully sooner than later. Maybe by then he'll be able to pass a physical. But that's just something I just thought of right now, because usually you can't trade players who are injured, but or at least that can't pass a physical. So, but that's something that's obviously out of our control. We have no idea if he'll pass a physical or not. But I think his trade value, Jimmy's trade value, has been affected, by this injury, and this is devastating. I don't know about you guys, but I was definitely surprised by this, and it's definitely the worst time, obviously, other than in the regular season, to have this type of injury, because we want to get the most value we can get for Jimmy. So, but you just hope, of course, that Jimmy recovers from that surgery. Um, and he continues to be, hey, a pretty good quarterback. NYC says, I can see us getting a second and a fourth for Jimmy. Okay. I would definitely take that, NYC. I would definitely take that. Let's see. Nicho TV says, I still don't understand all the hate Jimmy gets. Took us far. I think a second rounder is the best we can get right now, though. Without the surgery, probably want a late first. The hate for Jimmy is, he leaves some plays out there on the field. Sometimes he doesn't see open receivers, but I guess you could say that about a lot of quarterbacks. Jimmy, he has been inconsistent with his play, especially with turnovers. He's been a turnover machine. Jimmy's not a perfect guy. I appreciate what he did for this team while he was with us. Obviously, we want something better long term, and that's why we drafted Trey Lance. But Jimmy has definitely left some plays on the field. There's no doubt about that, and he's thrown some medicine balls. But but if a team is wanting to trade for Jimmy G, they look at his win loss record, they look at his leadership. He was in a pretty tough situation. The team drafts your replacement, and they still want you to be the starting quarterback and help that other quarterback along. Like, I don't know too many players that would do that. Brett Favre didn't want to do it. So, but hey, much respect to Jimmy. And also, people feel that Jimmy is along for the ride. He's not necessarily driving the car. And that's another thing that people just say, oh, it's been the defense, it's been the running game. But when Jimmy gets hurt, you still have the same defense, you still have the same running game, but the team isn't as successful. So, to each his own. I still think Jimmy is a starting quarterback in this league. Best case scenario, on his best day, he's probably like a top 12 quarterback. But I think he has been average, and he's anywhere from 12 to 20, anywhere between there, most of the time. JR Meadows says that 2017 injury messed up. Now adding more, his turnover ratio is really 3, but people ain't got no hands like me. Okay. Okay, JR. And that's another issue with Jimmy, is his, inability to stay healthy. And if you're a franchise quarterback, your health is your wealth. You have to be there for your team. But another plus for Jimmy is the teammates in the locker room respect him. A lot of the guys love him. They never really talk bad about Jimmy, and vice versa. Jimmy's never talked bad about the coaching staff or management or anything like that. So, Jimmy definitely has his pros and cons, just like every player. SG Sports Talk. What's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream, SG. Let me know, do you think Jimmy G's trade value has been affected by him having to have surgery on his throwing shoulder? Like, this isn't his non-throwing shoulder, this is his throwing shoulder that he's going to have this surgery on, and I think his trade value has been affected. But we'll see. We will see in the next, I would say, next week or two, and I think that's when a Jimmy G trade will go down. I believe the new league year starts March 16th, so we'll know real soon. what we'll be able to get for Jimmy G, and how many offers there are out there. Life is good, SG Sports. I appreciate the kind words, man. Appreciate that, SG. Hopefully everything is good in your hood on a Wednesday night. SG says, I don't know why they are throwing Trey under the bus. They just haters, SG. They just some haters. You can't be bothered with them haters. The people who say Trey is not ready, or they're already saying Trey won't live up to the hype. Like there's no merit behind that statement. Like you can't. So it's a wise man once said, you can't argue with the fool, because then people will say, well, who's the fool? You for arguing with someone who doesn't know what they're talking about, or the fool. But I just think he's only played 2 games. You can't really say he's not good, or you can't say he is good. You can't say it yet. We'll know this season if he starts the entire year, that's for sure. And I think Trey Lance will prove all those doubters wrong. I think so. NYCE, you can still trade. He just needs to pass the physical once the surgery and rehab is done. Okay. That's what happened with Marquise Goodwin to the Eagles, and they sent him back to us, and we dropped him. Yeah, so, yeah, hopefully after Jimmy gets the surgery, and I appreciate that comment, NYCE, because I wasn't exactly sure how that would work out. But, yeah, hopefully after Jimmy gets the surgery and he rehabs, and hopefully he can pass the physical, because if he doesn't, then obviously a team will not trade for him. So hoping health for Jimmy G, of course. SG says people are saying Trey Lance is not ready to start next season. Yeah, I mean, people are going to talk. He is technically, he'll be in his second year, but as far as starting quarterback, he's still a rookie in my mind. And there's going to be ups and downs, but people have their opinions. They're entitled to it. But what I believe is the coaching staff. If the coaching staff feel he's ready, he's definitely going to get the start. And all indications from John Lynch today in his press conference, they said they're ready to ride with Trey. He is the starter. That's that. So I'm looking forward to the season and see what Trey Lance can add to this offense. Don't worry about him, SG. Don't let him get to you. SG says, I get very emotional when people say demeaning comments to my star quarterback, Trey Lance. Yeah, you can't really worry about him, man. Don't let him get you upset. That's just giving people power over you, man. You can't worry about that, man. Man, but so that was definitely something I wanted to chat about with the faithful, as Jimmy G's trade value been affected, and also his injury to his throwing shoulder. So we got some great news. We got some more great news. Earlier in the week, running back coach Bobby Turner, I mean, the man has been with the Shanahans since Denver, maybe even before then. Bobby Turner has been either with Mike Shanahan or Kyle Shanahan easily the last, 25 to 30 years of his career coaching in the NFL. Bobby Turner has coached multiple running backs, and they've had successful seasons. You go back to Clinton Portis, you go back to Terrell Davis, there's tons of running backs. I know I'm leaving some out, but running back coach Bobby Turner, he is taking a year off. That was the news we heard earlier in the week. But I heard today that Bobby Turner, he's going to take the year away. He's had 2 operations on his body, so he's going to take some time off. But he is expected to come back next year. So I think that's great news for Bobby, and also great news for the 49ers that he's going to take some time off next year, and then he'll come back the following year. So I think that's great news for the 49ers. But I guess that's why Anthony Lynn was hired as the associate coach, because they had a feeling that Bobby Turner, would take some time away from the team. And for those that don't know, Anthony Lynn, he played the running back position in the NFL. And if you look at everywhere he's gone, Anthony Lynn, his running backs have really excelled if you look at his coaching history. So he'll provide another wrinkle to this 49ers offensive rushing attack. But I think we got a great hire in Anthony Lynn. And, of course, I wish a speedy recovery for Bobby Turner. Hopefully his rehab goes well, and, he'll be back sooner than later. And we're anticipating he'll be back after next year. Let's continue on with these comments. Nicho TV says, for me, I would rather have Jimmy stay for one more year. I don't really think Trey can take us far this year, and these years need to be a win at will years. I hope Trey proves me wrong if he starts. I respect your opinion, Nicho TV. I think, um, a lot of people have seen what Jimmy can do, and I think there's no doubt Jimmy G does limit this offense, whether it's Shanahan doesn't believe he can throw the ball deep outside the numbers, whether Jimmy G doesn't have belief in himself that he can do that. I believe Jimmy G is holding back the offense. And I think this team would benefit from a quarterback who can throw the ball deep. That gives something else for the defense to have to guard for is the deep throw. Because right now they're basically, putting 8-9 guys in the box, slowing down the run if they can, and daring Jimmy G to beat them with his right arm. And that was something that Debo had to answer to after the NFC Championship game. A reporter asked Debo Samuel, "Hey, what happened? What happened in the game? Why wasn't the offense as effective?" And Debo said, "Well, they slowed down the run and they forced us to pass." And hey, unfortunately, in the big games that Jimmy G has lost, if you look at his fourth quarter stats, he hasn't been his best. When we needed Jimmy to be his best, he couldn't. I don't have to go to the game by game. Y'all know the big games. But Jimmy G, when we needed him to play his best fourth quarter, unfortunately that didn't come to fruition. And we know Jimmy G is a solid quarterback, but we're looking for something even better. We're looking for those 3 to 4 spectacular plays a game that could possibly, catapult us to a win. And I appreciate what Jimmy's done for this squad, but I think it's time to move on. There's a reason why we traded up to get Trey Lance, and I think it's about time for trade area. But I respect your opinion, Nicho, and also the salary cap complications as well. I mean, Jimmy G's making $25 million. We want to re-sign possibly DJ Jones, Laken Tomlinson, Debo this offseason, possibly Nick Bosa. We can't do that with Jimmy G's salary on the book. So, but I respect your opinion, Nicho, but I just feel differently. David says, I don't hate Jimmy G. I do hate his salary cap hit. Yeah, that salary cap hit, it's not bad for a starting quarterback, but we have other needs on this team. And we drafted Trey Lance, and Trey Lance is making a fraction of what Jimmy G's making. And Trey Lance may be able to have the same success or even more. So I think it'd be, in the best interest of the team to ride with Trey Lance and get Jimmy G's salary off the books, because we have other areas on this team that we have to continue to get better. So, and I agree with you, David. I don't hate Jimmy G either. I love what he did for this team. When he was starting, this team was in contention. In 2 out of the 4 seasons, or basically 4.5, because in 2017 it was only 5 games. But hey, in 2 out of 4 seasons, NFC Championship and a Super Bowl appearance. I mean, you can't be mad at that. But there's a reason why this team traded up to get Trey Lance. Now, if Jimmy was healthy all 4 years, maybe we don't draft Trey Lance. That could be a possibility, but that's also another issue with Jimmy is his availability. Go Trey. Absolutely, SG Sports. I can't wait till we see Trey Lance in the regular season game week 1, man. Appreciate the kind words, SG. Let's see. Nicho says, well, I am a little biased because he's my favorite player and my childhood quarterback, so there's definitely some bias for him to stay. I respect that. I definitely respect that. I think it would be much different if we could have won that Super Bowl. I think things could have been a lot different, but hey, everything happens for a reason. I do respect Jimmy G. He, there were definitely some lean years after Jim Harbaugh was fired. We had Chip Kelly, Tom Sula in that head coach, and we didn't really have a quarterback after Kaepernick, got released. So, Jimmy G, he allowed this team to be in contention for the playoffs, right? I mean, without Jimmy G, this Kyle Shanahan doesn't have a winning coaching record, So Definitely, Jimmy G has done some great things for this team. I will miss him, and I wish him well. But it's time for Trey Lance. Make no mistake about it. Micho says, I do try to believe in Trey, but I just hate to see Jimmy is about to leave. Trey has a bunch of potential. Yep, Trey has a bunch of potential, and I can't wait to see it blossom in this Kyle Shanahan offense. And I think Jimmy G, wherever he lands, I think he'll be successful as long as he can stay healthy and he has talent around him. I definitely think he will be successful wherever he lands. Now, John Lynch also in his press conference, he did talk about right tackle Mike McGlinchey. And we know Mike McGlinchey had that. Mike McGlinchey played 8 games this season, and then unfortunately he suffered a quad tear. And it's the type of quad tear that a lot of players don't come back from, or they're not their normal self after they rehab from that injury. But good news so far, John Lynch has said that the rehab is going well, and the team is encouraged by Mike McGlinchey's progress. And hopefully we can have Mike McGlinchey back to solidify the right side of that offensive line. That would, be very, very crucial for this offensive line. Definitely want to have a good offensive line to protect our young signal caller. And speaking of that offensive line, John Lynch is optimistic. He said in the press conference today, he is optimistic that center Alex Mack will return to the team for the upcoming season. So that is great news because we don't know if we're going to be able to resign Laken Tomlinson. And we don't know if we're going to get an upgrade at that right guard spot with Daniel Brunskill. I like Brunskill. He's versatile. I think we should bring him back because he can play multiple positions, but I think we should get someone who's a little bit better, especially pass blocking situations over Brunskill. But you got the big silverback at left tackle. Right now you got center Alex Mack, and hopefully McGlinchey can come back from that injury at right tackle and at least be his normal self. I guess we'll see. Fingers crossed. Let's continue on with these comments. Let's see. NYCE says Jimmy's injuries are based on hits he has taken during games and refs not respecting him. 2018, his ACL on a run play and late hit. 2020, high ankle, he got stepped on. Hope he gets well, then traded. Yeah, that 2018 ACL, I remember he was running out of bounds. And I don't remember if he got hit out of bounds or not, but I was just saying, well, why not go out of bounds sooner? Why try to I mean, you're not Mike Vick, right? You're not Mike Vick. You're not going to outrun a defender. Just get out of bounds, get down, but and live to play another down. But hey, things happen. So in 2018, he tore his ACL. 2020, the high ankle sprain was kind of a fluke. I think it was Quinnen Williams who he was able to get an upper advantage over Laken Tomlinson, and his ankle got stepped on. So that was kind of a fluke. And this year with the thumb and the shoulder, I think he injured the shoulder because he was going down to the ground and he wanted to protect his thumb, so he landed more on his shoulder. So, football is a physical sport. Injuries are going to happen but when you're a franchise quarterback, your availability is very crucial to the team. I think that's a major reason why we drafted Trey Lance, is because unfortunately Jimmy's been hurt as much as he's been healthy in a 49er uniform. So, but I appreciate your sentiments, NYCE. David says at Nicho TV, I grew up watching Joe Montana and Steve Young carve up the NFL. I have high expectations and hope Trey Lance lives up to them. Hey, same here. Nicho, I have a lot of hope for him, but I can't let go of Jimmy as a Niner for some reason. Well, when you see Trey Lance making plays and he's having this team win, I think you won't be as insistent on wanting Jimmy G to be on the team. How about that? But I respect your fandom for Jimmy G, man, Nicho. I respect that, but Hey man, I think it's time to move on. Like SG say, go trade. Nicho says, I just need some time to try to let go and hop on that go trade train. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. SG says, go DJ. That's my DJ. Go DJ. That's my DJ. Absolutely, man. And speaking of DJ, hopefully we can re-sign DJ Jones. But I've got a feeling that if the Niners lose DJ Jones and Lincoln Tomlinson, which is possible, we know Robert Saleh with the Jets is he knows DJ Jones. He was here. They could offer some big money to DJ Jones, or even with the Miami Dolphins. They have a lot of salary cap. They could offer a deal to DJ Jones or Laken Tomlinson. So there's a high possibility that we won't be able to bring back either player. But we do have replacements for those players. We do have Aaron Banks at left guard. We also have Jalen Moore as well. So there are options if we lose Lincoln Tomlinson. Of course, I would love to keep Lincoln, but it all depends. If he can get upwards of 10 to 12 million on the open market, I don't know if the Niners will match that. I don't know if they'll do that. The same with DJ Jones. I think his market might be between 6 and 8, but I don't know if the Niners will pay that. So, we'll see. We shall see what happens. Let's see. NYC says, can you tell me? Because I heard around that Lynch also said it might be hard to bring DJ back. That's my DJ. Yeah, I know, man. It's, I don't think the Niners right now, the Niners are under the salary cap, or I should say they're over the salary cap. I think we're about $4 to $6 million over the salary cap right now. So it's not like we just have a ton of money just sitting around. And if I could only sign one of our free agents, for me it'd be Lincoln, just to help solidify that offensive line. We need a strong offensive line in front of Trey Lance. And DJ Jones, he's good. He's going to earn every penny he gets, but I mean, I want to say he only played about 30 to 40% of the snaps last year. We do have Javon Kinlaw, and I will talk about Javon Kinlaw. John Lynch spoke in length about Javon Kinlaw in the press conference, and Javon Kinlaw, his rehab is going well. And, yeah, I would love to have DJ Jones back, but I don't know if the Niners will match what he can get on the open market. I'm sure the Niners have a number in mind. And and I don't blame DJ or any player that takes more money, because hey, usually if you're not a quarterback, usually you only get one big contract. Like you look at DJ Jones, this will probably be his biggest contract. You look at Lincoln Tomlinson, who's 30 years old, this will be his biggest contract. So usually quarterbacks, if you're really great, yeah, you can have multiple contracts where you're making huge dollars. But other players, it's really limited on the amount of contracts they can get, especially the big money. So I don't fault any player for taking more, but I think it's going to be tough to keep both players. That's what I think. Absolutely. SG Sports, go TL. That's right, man. We got to talk about, let's see. John Lynch did talk about Javon Kinlaw's rehab progress. And I'm going to read what John Lynch said about Javon Kinlaw. Let's see. So this is John Lynch in his press conference today at the NFL Combine. He said, Javon Kinlaw is doing really well. He really is. It's nice to see Javon around with a smile. He's not in pain anymore, and he's a big man. John Lynch thinks the plan is he could be back during the offseason program, but we want to make sure he is fully rehabbed. And this is John Lynch talking about defensive tackle Javon Kinlaw. We don't want to rush this because he is so critical to our success. I completely agree. If you could have Kinlaw and Armstead at the defensive tackle position, I think that's great. Of course, you love to have DJ Jones in as well, as you could rotate him in as well, or rotate Kinlaw in as well. But obviously, if you could have those three guys back, that would be best case scenario, but we'll see. John Lynch also said after the surgery, Javon Kinlaw spent time in Los Angeles getting on what Lynch called the Bosa program. The second year lineman got more one on one attention than he would have at the team facility with the same rehabilitation staff that Nick Bosa used following ACL surgery. So that's good because Nick Bosa had the torn ACL, rehabbed away from the team, and he came back and had a 15 and a half sack season, and he looked better than ever. So hopefully we'll get. I don't think I'm not expecting Javon Kinlaw to have a double-digit sack season, but hey, if he can take on double teams, be stout in the run game, occasionally get some quarterback pressure, I think that's what we would want from him. Um, John Lynch also said later Kinlaw returned to the Bay Area and implemented the same program of rehab with the 49ers medical staff. And Lynch has said he has made tremendous gains. He is doing really well, and now we continue to implement that program. John Lynch also said that he has such a high ceiling. We want to see him healthy. There's that mix. How do you do that? Because he is also a bigger guy. And so, that's great news for Javon Kinlaw and his rehab progress because he's a first round pick. We drafted him to replace DeForest Buckner, and we're going to need to see a productive Javon Kinlaw. That's for sure. Also, John Lynch did state that the 49ers are interested in signing cornerback Jason Verrett. I don't know who's for that or against that in the chat. I would love to hear you guys' opinion. Are you for or against the 49ers bringing back cornerback Jason Verrett? We know Verrett had probably one of his best seasons in 2020, I believe. Was that 2019? I think it was 2020. Yeah, I think it was 2020. Jason Verrett had one of his best seasons. I think he played in 15 of 16 regular season games, and unfortunately, this season he got hurt basically the first game, torn ACL. I would welcome signing cornerback Jason Verrett. It'd be a 1-year deal, vet minimum deal. And I would not tell him he's going to be the starter. I think he would have to beat out either Emmanuel Mosley or right now Ambry Thomas in order to get that starting position. But I would definitely bring in Jason Verrett. Obviously, he's rehabbing his torn ACL, and I would definitely give him a look. But I would still draft a corner in the draft, and I would also still sign a corner in free agency. So I wouldn't put all my eggs in a Jason Verrett basket. Not at all. Let's see. NYCE says, I just hope DJ doesn't go to Dallas. Hey, man, I'm going to be happy for DJ Jones. He's earned every penny he will get in the offseason, whether it's from us or another team. Yeah, it would suck if he went to Seattle. That's for sure. Yeah, that'd be terrible if he went to the Seattle Seahawks. But, DJ Jones, man, he was drafted in John Lynch's first draft with the team in 2017. He was a 6th-round pick, and he's worked his tail off, and now he's got an opportunity to strike it big. And because this is probably, his first and last, big contract in the NFL, multi-year contract extension. So, hey, man, he's got the opportunity to strike gold. NYC says, yeah, I like that. I like Verrett as long as he can stay healthy. He will be a huge help. I agree, man. We keep Verrett a 1-year deal. He signed with us last year, even though he could have gotten a multi-year contract extension from another team. But you got to be real, too. It was COVID last year, and a lot of teams, weren't spending a lot of money, and also the salary cap went down. But, I think a 1-year prove-it deal with Verrett, I'm definitely will be interested in. Because when he's at his best, he's not a shutdown corner, but he's definitely a upper echelon starting corner in this NFL when he's healthy. John Lynch also stated the obvious when a reporter asked him about Debo Samuel and Nick Bosa, and John Lynch stated that Debo and Nick Bosa are foundational pieces and are going to be 49ers for a long time. Now, it'll be interesting. Obviously, Debo, he's in the last year of his contract this year, and I think the 49ers will sign him to a long-term contract extension. Nick Bosa, though, I'm not sure. Nick Bosa was a first-round pick. He has that 5th-year option next year. If you're Nick Bosa and Nick Bosa's camp, you probably don't want to re-sign this offseason. Why? Well, the salary cap will continue to go up next year. If Nick Bosa has another all-pro, Pro Bowl type season, he could garner even more money if he re-signs the following season. If you're the 49ers, I don't know if we have the cap space to sign Nick Bosa this offseason. I know John Lynch said that those two players extensions were budgeted in the cap. So I guess technically we do, but we'll see, because it takes two to tango, and there's no guarantee that Nick Bosa would want to re-sign now or have another all-pro season and re-sign after next year. So we'll see. We shall see. John Lynch did talk about Trey Lance's development. He said that Trey Lance's development has been tremendous, and all that sounds great. I just want to see it, this offseason. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of videos and practice of him throwing. And we know he can throw. I guess we really want to, or at least for me, I can't speak for everyone else, but for me, I just want to see it week 1 in the regular season, and let's see what the young buck has. But I just wanted to hop on real quick, talk about what stood out to me in John Lynch's press conference. I appreciate everyone for tuning in to the stream tonight. Huge shout out if you're watching from intheBay Facebook, and if you're watching from intheBay YouTube, feel free to hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe, and shout out if you're watching from intheBay Twitter as well. I appreciate everyone who is in the chat tonight. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your week, and it'd be interesting to see what other news comes out this week from the combine. But just wanted to talk about John Lynch and his latest thoughts on the team. So I'm glad I could share that with you guys tonight. And thanks for watching your boy Jay in the Bay. I'll see you guys in the next one. Most likely I will have a live stream, most likely on Sunday night. Might be I might have one sooner than that, but definitely Sunday night. And of course, I will still be putting out videos on my channel as well. I think I have one more. Let's see. NYC says, I think the big thing for Trey is to hit those midfield passes and get that finesse. Can't wait. Yeah, exactly. And that's going to take time, accuracy. And he is working with quarterback coach John Beck this offseason. So hopefully, that throwing motion can get it will decrease as far as the time it takes for him to throw the ball. He kind of winds up to throw the ball, and hopefully John Beck can help Trey get that release quick. And because that quickness is all an offense needs in order to move the chain. Sometimes that elongated release that allows defenders to catch up to the ball. So yeah, and also Brandon Ayuk, he's working out with Trey Lance, and hopefully they get on the same page. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to free agency that's coming up in about 2 weeks. Can't wait to see who the Niners re-sign and who we bring into the team. Have a great day as well, NYCE. You do the same as well, David McNew. It's always Niners, 24/7, 365. Thanks for watching your boy, Jay in the Bay. See you guys in the next one. Go Niners.